Howdy, this is Matthew Ford, the Digital Cowboy, and today I'm going to show y'all how to set up the image planes for 3ds Max for the DeLorean series, and this is part 2 of that setup video tutorial. Um, we are going to, from here, take the image planes we made in part 1 and get that set up in 3ds Max here. So with that, let's show you what we're gonna set up for in case you missed the exciting part 1. We're gonna make that. Ooh. No, I'm just kidding. That. Now that's a nice wireframe and a nice render of it. Now I'll show you what we're gonna make. These are from the reference images. I based this off of my blueprints off of this, so you do have access to the original image. This is what we are going to model. So we're going to set image planes that we made based off of this and a top view and make that. So those image planes, here is the project folder, Project C DeLorean, that we've been working from. I'm using a 3ds Max project folder system here for managing my files, and in the scene assets is where you will find all those images. There's the reference images, and here are the views we made in the last video: front, rear, side, and top. And we are going to import those into 3ds Max. So fun, exciting. Here we go. Let's get these ready. I have all 4 of these. I'm going to move them off to the side. Yes, I have multiple monitors. That's why you see me going in and out. It is a great lifesaver and workflow, guys. I got an old CRT monitor hooked up here. I just have it there for Windows and stuff. Okay, here's 3ds Max. And in case you don't know, you can watch my other video on how to use the relative and local file paths for controlling this project folder and that MXP file here, which is like a traffic control cog telling 3ds Max what to go and where to access things and save things. And to access that, you go into Customize Preferences, and under the Files tab here, make sure you have Convert Local File Paths to Relative checked. And then by default, the undo levels are usually really low. I just type in 500. By default, it's 20. You're going to want a lot more than that. And then click OK. Go over to File, Set Project Folder, find it on your computer. In this case, I already have it selected from my desktop, a little folder I'm working from here. Click on it. If you've never made one before, if this is blank and there's nothing in here, and you click on it, it will generate all of these subfolders. It does it automatically. So once you click on it and say OK, that's just something with the new Max plugins. It is now going to access this every time. Anytime I do a file save, everything's going to go in these folders and not look everywhere else on my C drive. Wonderful. So I've given you in that folder, go to Open, right here under Scenes, it automatically takes you into the Scenes folder. Wonderful. Lab 10, you're going to open up this. I already have one here, but you're going to open up that where it says your name. Open her up. It comes with a spec sheet that I put in here. with the actual dimensions of the car, which is nice, and what I like to call my size masters. I do this for everything. It's just a box that's the overall size of whatever I'm modeling, the height, width, and length. So what I did was I imported it in, put that in there as an image. Now, the overall length, 166, blah, blah, blah. I just put a box. All you gotta do is create a box. Go in your modify tab. You don't need any height, segments or any fancy schmancy stuff. I like it, make it even number here. Say 100 by 100 by 100. Now, the reason why I do that is because I'm going to move my anchor point. Okay, it is on the base. Some objects aren't. We want that to be our center. I put it in the center of the world. 0, 0, 0, 0. Under the world coordinate system here. And then just type in the right sizes. Okay. Which in this case, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. If you look, there it is, 166 on the overall length, 73.1. Overall width, that's with the doors closed. And then the height, 44.88 inches here. Overall height with the doors closed. So I went with those dimensions right here and there. And that gives me a box in the right shape I need it to be. Now, I don't want to move it or anything else. I'm going to open up my layer manager. And there's my DeLorean size master. Whenever I make them, I right click, go to object properties, make sure the show frozen in gray is unchecked. We don't want to move this or anything. So if we freeze it, we don't want it going gray or whatever. Click OK. Now I can freeze it. And I have a transparent material on there, guys. I'm not going to get into that right now. So now I have that. I'm going to put everything in my views folder here. So everything's going to go in here, the view planes are. So the first thing I want to do is let's look at the dimensions of those images we made. So under the scene assets, images, here are our images. We have 400 by 200, 400 by 200, 800 by 200, 800 by 400. So let's go with the biggest one first here. 800 by 400. Pardon me. Spring's in the air, guys. It is March 14th, 2019. And I think it's the warmest day since before winter. 70 something, I think, today. So don't mind me if I sound a little sniffly. Even digital cowboys get the sniffles. Alright, so let's get a plane in here. Let's go up here. Looking in the viewport too, guys. Where's your front? Where's your back? Make sure you have your directions over here correct. So let's make a plane right here. Go into here. Let's type in. See, and that plane went right into the views layer folder here. So that's good. I can close out of that. Alright, so these values right here on the side. we need to make that, what did we say? This looks awfully, if I make that 400, here I'll show you. The biggest one there was 800 long. And this is 400 wide. Pretty big, huh? Well, that's why we made those in the last video. Very easy numbers to work with. I would have wanted to divide 763.89 in half. I mean, why? Why do the math, guys? Here, let's just cut these in half. See how big it is. 4 and 2. See, the aspect ratio is the same. So we're all right. So let's we can take it down. Oh, I'm deciding, guys. Let's see what 2 and 1 does. There. See, the aspect ratio stayed the same. So we're all right. And from here, I can take that top view. I can drag and drop it right on there. There we go. Let's move this off the side. Now, 3ds Max. Look, the length is 800, and it wants to confuse it. So what we can do is we can just reverse these and rotate it. All right. Make our lives easy. 1 and 2. Let's grab the rotate. Make sure your angle snaps toggle here is turned on up top. Make sure it's blue. And rotate it 90 degrees. There we are. Grab your move tool or hit the W key. And since we're in the world coordinate system, I can down below here zero everything out. 0, 0, 0. And there we are. Look at it from the top. I'm going to hit T for top orthographic view. It switched right over here automatically from perspective to orthographic view. So I want to make sure everything's going to be scaled all right. I have that frozen. Let's go into the layer manager for a second. It's kind of hard to see. Set F4, maybe edge faces 2 will help. Go back top. Let's see here. Where's these edge? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Hit the sides perfect. Don't worry, we can model outside of it. The box is just a placeholder, so we knew how far to scale this down. And then we're going to base all the other image planes off of this. That way we don't have to go through that whole process of changing these values and wondering what the right aspect ratio and everything is. We are good here. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that guy. Hide selection. Alright. Now, there's his anchor point, dead center. This looks wonderful. Let's make a copy of it. And before I do, name your things, please. So this is view underscore top. I'm naming it the same as my images. Yeah, keep everything in sync. So let's select that guy, grab my rotate tool. I'm going to shift rotate. I'm going to rotate, hold down the shift key. make sure I'm in local here, just to be on the safe side. Let's rotate that 90 degrees. And we're going to hold down the shift key when we do it, so it's going to make a copy of that. "90 degrees. We wanted it as a copy, not an instance, because we are going to alter this. And we can change the name right here while we're at it. This is going to be our side view, guys. So you can just rename it side. Say OK. Grab the move tool. And now what I'm going to do is raise this guy up. But I'm not going to move him right away. I remember on our images, I want the anchor point on all these vertical, the sides, front, top, or front, rear. I want the anchor point to be down here, not in the center. That way it'll be grounded to the 3ds Max world. So I'm going to go over here, and next to the Modify tab is the Hierarchy tab. There it is. I'm going to affect the pivot only. And I'm going to change this from world to local. And what I want to do is go down. Look at the value. I want to go down on that y-axis halfway. Now, how far do we go? Well, how big is that image? If I remember correctly, it's 100 wide. So I could type in, let's hit undo, affect pivot only, have it go down on the y-axis 50. Better type in a negative there. And there it is. It's perfect. No hard math. I just went down 50, which was half of the 100. I'm done affecting the pivot. Change your coordinate system to world and watch. Watch what happens. Here on the z-axis, everything's 0. It was zeroed out before, remember? This changed to negative 50 because I lowered the anchor point negative 50. So just zero it out. Psh, there we are. Perfect. Right on that ground. Lovely. Now let's go back to the modified panel. And remember that length is 100. Remember on those images, we changed that. And it looks like, okay, here we are. And it looks like that top was half of that. Okay, well, with that selected, what's half of 100? 50. Hit enter. Now, unfortunately, Mac sometimes does this. It never, alright. Effect pivot only. Center, when these happen, no problem. Let's fix it. Center it to the object. We know this is 50. So let's go down, negative 25. Let's change this to local though first. So negative 25, hit enter. Get out of effect pivot only. Change this back to world. And now, see, 25. I can right click that, boom. There you go. No problem. It happens, guys. So you have to know how to troubleshoot a little bit there. Now, here's the image. There it is. And look, behold, the edge is lined up. Everything is lined up. I can rotate that, work from the top, from the side. Any way I move my model now, if I go into orthographic view here, look at it from the top. Everything is will be perfectly lined up. That is our objective here. This will prevent errors. That's the whole point of these two videos, how to make these image planes right. And anybody can make an image in Photoshop. Okay, well, you got to know how to make it right. Put it in here and set up your file to be lined up, or you're going to have nightmares when we model. So now we need that front and back view. Okay, let's grab the rotate tool. I'm going to grab old Mr. View Side. I'm going to shift rotate 90 degrees in this direction. It's going to be a copy. Let's call this front. Hit enter. Grab the move tool. Now we need to change the width of this. So it's 50 high, which is the correct height that we want. We need to bring those sides in. So the width is going to come down to 100. See how it lines up with those edges? Our image, if we look at the top, the width is 400, 400, 200 high. The aspect ratios are the same, guys. I can make this from scratch. Have to rotate it, do it all like I did the ground, but I just like making them from what's right here. So there it is, 50 and 100. Let's drag and drop this guy right on there. And there it is. Aha. Now, we need the back. Now, don't be alarmed that I'm doing this. This isn't going to hurt, moving this on this axis. Now, I'm going to lock these later on. I'm going to show you how. I'll leave that alone for now. I mean, we're done with those. But if I wanted, I can slide this one back and forth this way, see? So I can free myself up depending on what view I'm working on, like this. And what I'm modeling is in the center. So let's make the back. Now, I'm going to leave the front all the way back there. The reason is, if I'm modeling my object, what am I in? Front. Right. In order to get the back, see, this is in the way. So I can hide this later. Or I can hide it now. Right. Well, let's make the copy first. Shift drag it forward. It's exactly the same size. Make it a copy. Let's call it back. View underscore, actually, rear. Okay. Let's bring my image in and drag and drop the other one on there. There we go. And everything is lined up. See, you can move these on that axis, and you can tell everything is lined up. So now we have these images in here. These images you're going to lose, by the way, if you do not use that project file folder system I showed you. If you're just saving those images anywhere on your computer, you take this max file with you, you open it up, they're going to be blank because those files are somewhere else on your other computer. Keep them in that folder system. Proper file management. You don't want to hand it off to the next person in chain of, and they're like, hey, I've got broken links everywhere. We're trying to prevent that, guys. So, now speaking of proper file management, old Mr. Ford, the digital cowboy, made a mistake that I should show you. What's the file name up here? Lab10 underscore setup underscore your name. That was the default file I wanted everybody to open, including myself, and rename. I didn't. Good thing I haven't done a file save yet either. So I'm going to do a file save as, there it is, type in your name, save. Yes, I already had one. Overwrite it. And there we go. That way, if you make a mistake, you have the original. That should have been the first thing I did, and I got sidetracked. I apologize. Nobody's perfect. So, with that being said, that's proper file management, and your bosses and everything will appreciate it. Now, with these things here, let's lock them in place. We don't want to move them. If we're in the middle of the modeling process and these are visible and we accidentally select them because they're not frozen, whatever, accidents happen. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You'll hear me say it over and over again, and I have to because the old digital cowboy is a big airhead. So, what I like to do here, over here in the hierarchy panel here, instead of pivot, link info. Now, watch this. Change this to local first, your coordinate system, so you can see it vanish. I don't want to scale it anymore, so I'm going to lock all those. If I grab the scale tool, it certainly shouldn't. Yep, there it is. See? It's not doing nothing. All right. So, here's rotate. Watch, the handle should start to disappear. See? That axis, the Z or Y, vanished. See? They go away. Now let's grab the move tool. You'll see them vanish. And boom. I don't want to move that ground one at all. He can stay there permanently. If he's in the way, I mean, I don't need to see it to model the undercarriage. I don't have a bottom view, unfortunately. I'll just hide it. So those are all locked. Let's go to this guy. All right. I'm gonna make sure all these are check marked. All right. I don't want to move it up. That would throw me off if I'm in the middle of modeling and this moved up. Oh no, I've lost alignment with my car and roof, everything else. So I don't want to move the X. I don't want to move it left or right. It's already lined up here on these edges. It would throw me off. The only one is this one. I don't mind it. No matter where that goes, it's still lined up. So I can move it over this side if I want to work on this. So that's my workflow. Now let's do the same with these. There we go. They were the same, so I selected them both and just did them both at the same time. There it is. They can move back and forth this way, but that's it. Now, when we change the coordinate system to world, even though the gizmo's there, it won't let us move left or right. See, those values start to want to change, but then you let go, it snaps right back. But it will let you move it. Come back this way. See? So now some artists I've seen, like say that wasn't there, they'll take that, and they like working from the center, and what they're modeling will be transparent, and we'll do that on our model too. I just don't like this because it's in my way. I really don't like that. So I like to keep my work area open. And then when I go over into the layer manager, Matthew, there they all are in that views folder. When I'm done with it, I can just hide it. Everything went away, and all that will remain is the model that we will be making. See? Wonderful. All right. So, and if that rascal there gets in your way, I locked his rotate and scale and everything, so he would always be facing this direction on a side view. But you can move it anywhere you want, so you have that ability to just get it out of your way, and then you can hide them individually if you need to. We can freeze them all, so I can select all of them, hit freeze. What happened? Oh, that guy, he stayed, but they're all gray. Well, that's that object properties thing. Let's undo that. And I should be able to select all of them and do it all in one fell swoop. They're all selected. I'll right click object properties, and here they are. See, show frozen in gray. Uncheck that. We don't want to render these. It's not going to be part of our scene. This is for constructing our model only. So let's say OK. Now if I select each one, right click object properties, you'll see they maintained that. So let's select them all. Come here, you. Lasso them up there. Freeze it. And there they go. Now I won't accidentally select it if I'm in the middle of my modeling process. Yeah, I can have this window off to my side here, and I could be modeling. Yeah, I'll say this is my model, and I'm modeling. I can see through it. We will be working in orthographic views, so we'll be in like top view and modeling. We'll be switching over into the side view and getting that precise. See, perspective lies. Remember that. Orthographic view tells the truth here. There's no perspective. So you don't have that foreshortening. And that's just for modeling. It might not look right to your eye, but that's what perspective view's for, you know. And then you'll check and see what a wonderful model you've made, yeah. Gotta love the DeLorean. Oh, Marty McFly. So we're gonna model this in the next video. And I hope I know this is drawn out, seem very simple and basic and sort of not exciting as modeling, but the first part one and part two of this video series here, I have to stress setting it up all right and making sure you're not going to have errors later on. Trying to fix those becomes a nightmare. And I'm saying that from my own experience, not because I'm some genius. Uh, you know, share my experience there, the bad ones too. Trust me, and your fellow workers will appreciate this too. You know, simple numbers, everything's lined up. This is nice and clean. You know, you could hand it off to the next person in the chain because you got too busy and you got to work on another model, and they're gonna love you for this because wow, they can go. Everything's right there. Wonderful. So with that, adios, and see you in the next video.